That's a big old vape, isn't it? That's so funny, just the colours. Alright, dispose of that one. Oh man. So slow this morning. Everything covered in mud. Seriously looking like trying to find a needle in a haystack. I'm going to head back down the other way because the pipes come up there. There'll be something. I don't usually come down here, but I thought we'd give it a try. Been here before, found some interesting stuff, but yeah, today's so muddy. See, the problem is on the weekends when the boats don't run till later and the water's quite still, everything's covered in a layer of mud. So funny, this plate, I must have been here like a year ago, and this plate is pretty much in the same situation. The same place as when I was here a year ago, which kind of oh look, tiny little, don't know if you can see it, little shrimp. Yeah, there's not much movement down here. But anyway, today's going to be a good day. See if I can find some gold for you. It's very much on my radar. Wanting to find some gold. You would of course absolutely know if I do find gold, because I shall be screeching and dancing. I've been scraping up on some of the iron patches there. There's a good sort of starting point to have a look, but not much, not even anything above the kind of main iron, no kind of interesting stuff, copper nails or anything. This is not my usual haunt. I'm suddenly kind of missing my usual haunt being down here, but it's gonna get super muddy pretty soon, and then it gets a bit kind of you see, there's a lot of clay pipes down here. I mean, really kind of long stemmed. You see, there's loads of these long clay pipe stems lying around, and bottles down here as well, especially when the tide does go out a bit further. All the old bottles come up like these here, with a lovely round on the bottom there. But the good thing is, because it's so still, it means you can go out a bit before the boats start, and then then you've got to be careful of the wash. Oh, there's something so relaxing just about walking through the water and the sound of that water. I'm in coin mode today again. I'm kind of got this thing about finding coins at the moment. So that's what I'm looking for. Anything particularly round. And, coins are generally, depending on the condition, of course, very round. So that's what you look for, something very round, where there's things that aren't so round. Always worth checking on the back here, because some stuff washes up from what was the old asylum down here. So it's worth always checking on the back and see if it's got the asylum, like Metropolitan something. I can't remember what it is. Oyster shells down here also. Food of the Romans. I think the Thames got a bit too polluted after a while, and they stopped eating them from the Thames, understandably. just scraping this patch because stuff seems to have collected there, so it's always worth having a quick look, seeing what's underneath. Good morning, Martin. Welcome to the Foreshore. Welcome to southeast London. Today, weather's slightly misty and cloudy with a slight chill in the air. Sunshine expected later with maximum temperatures of up to 15, possibly 18 degrees, which is nice because then it's a sense of spring is definitely here. On the clay pipes, I mean, this one is broken, but it's always good to look at the heel. Sometimes you have maker's marks on there. Helps you identify kind of where they're from. And the thing is, when you see stems poking out of the mud, that's always potential for the bowl to be on the other end. And it's worth very gently bringing them out of the mud. I don't use a metal detector. I mean, you can do, but not in, I mean, in certain parts of the foreshore, but here is, there is just so much iron. Pig iron. A lot of this was ship breaking. So nails and everything down here, it just becomes a nightmare. I've tried it. And I have a Garrett 80 Pro, which I like. It's a good detector. But just yeah, it just, no matter kind of how I set it, it was just so much iron in there, just interferes completely. But there's some guys here that metal detect, not this neck of the woods, more in town, that find amazing stuff. So if you've got a small enough coil and your detector is good for this kind of terrain, then it's great. But as I say, when I tried it, I ended up preferring just using my eyes and scraping. And still find coins amazingly. I think from a metal detecting background, to think that you can find coins just using your eyes, or a sense of how the foreshore works, and to scrape and bring up coins. And these are good coins, 400-year-old silver coins, you know. It's you know, that's the joy for me for mudlarking, rather than detecting down here, just because it would it drives you insane. Ah, right, yeah. I mean, if you go on Instagram, there's some mudlarks that metal detect, and you'll see the kind of amazing stuff they bring out. I mind that, brilliant. Ah, a hoard of silver shillings, how fantastic. God, I can imagine the rush you'd have had when that came out. Well done, congratulations. This is Mickey Mouse. Welcome to the Foreshore. Little crab here. I think these are mitten crabs. Originally from Asia. Came to the UK clinging to the hulls of ships. And then made their home here. See, this is always interesting on kind of patches like this where iron is, I mean, this is so muddy down here, but I would always give that a bit of a scrape. Just sometimes things get caught up in there in the iron, you know, and specifically coins and that. So that's one place I would kind of I look for and as a starting point, because it is literally looking for a needle in a haystack. You know, there's I mean, look at the foreshore. I mean, where'd you start? Using just your eyes, you know, when you can't use a detector down here because there's just too much iron. So many ship's anchors down this particular stretch. See some more bottle bases here. See, these are great for the garden actually. For you can use make like paving and fill them up with water for the birds. I have a few at home in the garden. But you get a sense of the iron down here. I don't know if you can see those. These are metal iron staples down here. And that's just on the surface, and underneath it just goes on and on and on. It's another one of these bottles here. Look at that. It's another one. And actually, when the tide gets a bit lower, and if it's a really low tide, you go out there, you get the bottles which are a bit more complete coming out of the mud. So this is interesting. There's another sort of stem. Sometimes a bowl is attached, sometimes not, but they're quite long. But here it starts to get really muddy and not pleasant mud, sort of mud where you start to sink, so you've got to be so careful down this neck of the woods. If I'm honest, I'm not really a great fan of that. When I know it's ironic, really, isn't it? Because I'm mudlarking and I'm a mudlark, but not a great fan of mud. Only because once you've got stuck in mud once, that's enough actually to kind of make you not want to get stuck again. Just when you're standing there sinking and sinking and sinking. Oh, shit. So when you walk down here, it's just got to be so very careful. Otherwise you can run into trouble. Normally if I go to muddy places like this, I have a spade which I bring with me just for leverage and to help me get out if I run into trouble and get stuck. Ah, 2 gold sovereigns, fantastic. That's on my radar when I'm down here always, is to find a gold coin. I'd love to find a gold coin. Is mudlarking an expensive hobby? No, not really. I mean, the expense is your permit, if you can get one, and then secondly, just your travel to get where you're going, and that's it. The rest, I mean, I use a rake. I've got a couple of things that I use. One, which is this rake, and I use that for mainly sort of iron patches, just to scrape away the top to see what's underneath. It's another one of those bottles. But no, there's not a great expense, and but a good pair of wellies, and along with the wellies also get some insoles. It makes the world of difference walking on rocks and stones and stuff. A lot of bottle tops down here. If you're into pottery as well, Thames Foreshore is great. You see all these metal staples here. So that, multiply that by thousands upon thousands upon thousands, all over the place, under the mud and everywhere. And that's when detecting becomes a nightmare. So bone as well, so many bones you get on the foreshore. Alright, let's get off the mud a bit, go further up. You can kind of hear how the mud just sucks you down. Sounds like a Channel 5 TV show, doesn't it? Mud that sucks you down. So I don't know whether you can see that there's like a thin layer of mud which has covered this. Today I'm kind of primarily looking for coins, but down here you get great. So first Uber boat of the day, which is great. That will get the mortar moving a bit and shift some of the layer of mud. Though down here it's just mud, so it's not going to make much difference. Primarily today I'm looking for coins, but this patch down here you get some lovely old clay pipes coming up as well. But you can see that's just mud flats. Let's go back on the mud. You see the old posts here. And there's the steps leading down. There we go, so there's the wash coming in. So that's always good because that kind of helps reveal stuff. I mean, it's not great for the foreshore because it causes a lot of erosion. But does help to bring stuff up and land it. Oh, thank you so much. Thank you. There's certain places I go where I'm fortunate enough to find coins. So, and because my background is metal detecting, I tend to hang around there and keep looking for the coins because that's something I enjoy and want to find. I have how many? So I'm still waiting to pick up 2 more coins from the Museum of London, and they're just being recorded at the moment. And then I'm going to drop off another one, which is lovely, which is a Charles I Richmond farthing, early 1600s. Always just look on the base of the plate. Sometimes it's interesting to see what's on the base. Oh man, the mud down here. Thank you. Thanks so much. Yeah, find that treasure. It's a kind of preference with gloves. I'm not a great fan of the gloves down here, if I'm honest. But if you come down here, feel free, use your gloves. But I kind of like the mud and the feeling of it's not a thing for me. But I know some people are quite sensitive on that. And good. Go ahead and definitely use gloves. I would always suggest it, but personal preference is not to. And that's a kind of a mixed kind of thought with mudlarks. Some do, some don't. But if that's your thing, then do, by all means. And if you're thinking about mudlarking, I would encourage you to wear gloves. Golden sunrise. See, I haven't been down there for ages, so I'm a bit cautious about going through the mud because I don't know it well enough on the spots where, I'll go down. And the last thing I really want today is to be covered in mud and have to lie on my back to try and swim my way out of it. I'm going to go a bit further on the mud here, just on the edge, and just have a look out for pipe stems sticking out. So many anchors down here as well. Oh wow. California midnight. So it's 7 minutes to 8 in the morning. So low tide was 5:36. So 7:30. So tide is coming in now. Tide this morning was 7:34. A predicted low tide of, what was it? I think 0.5 today, which is okay. But then that's a predicted low tide. The observed low tide sometimes is different, can be higher or lower. I had a great, I think it was a 0.2 predicted low tide, and ended up being a minus 0.1, and it was brilliant. Saw a bit of the foreshore I hadn't seen before, and so many cannon shot coming up from it. So I'm going to go up where that, you'll see, I'll show you the anchor in a minute. Yeah, I mean, so in that part of Greece, the good thing here with the Thames that it's tidal. So that's two things. One, it gives you access to bits of the foreshore normally you don't do. But secondly, it moves things and moves the mud, and things travel in the water. So what you do find is artifacts which have been deposited, and sometimes you just find them on the surface, sunbathing. And so that's the beauty of the tidal Thames. See, I don't know if you can see all those chains, and there's a big block of stone there, which would have been a mooring point. And further down there, you'll start to see all the anchors. See, if I had my spade, I'd go out further out, but I don't want to risk it today. It's just going to be so muddy. Now there's interesting, I don't know if you can see it, just directly in front is an old cartwheel with a chain on it, and that's a mooring point as well. And you only see that it's coming, it's more and more out the mud. I remember last time it was in here, it was a bit more submerged, but now it's kind of coming through. Morning. How are you? Just say I'm live streaming, but I'm pointing it to the floor, so you're not in it, don't worry.
No worries.
Okay. Happy hunting.
And you.
And there's another one, a big round kind of stone. No, yeah, no, but not today. Not today in this place. It's just horrendous with mud. And not today. So that's where the stuff is out there. But not today. I'm not going to go out there today. I'm not equipped for it. But there you can see that stone as well. So you got the cartwheel over there. And a big stone there. And there's some anchors down here as well. So we're going to go further up against the wall when we go a bit further down. And start scraping. But just, I mean, this is just on the edge and I'm sinking in the mud. Now normally what you can do is navigate on bits of rock and wood, but I don't think I can do that today. There's that mooring point, huge mooring point. Where's the anchor? Somewhere down here you'll see a few anchors. So you can hear just walking through the mud, that sound. Is that ASMR? Walking through mud. The joys of walking through mud. Yeah, it's like a saying as a mudlark. I'm not a great fan of mud. There's the irony, right? So that's, not that this is a clay pipe, but this is something that you look for, stuff sticking out. This is metal. But for the clay pipe stems, sometimes you see them like that, and then the bowl. And sometimes they're like church wardens, really long ones, come out on the other end. Another bottle. Not so old, that one. You can hear my feet getting stuck in there. Where's the anchor? Yeah, so I've been out there before, but I've had my spade so I could get myself out of the mud. But then really, I think it's good to have waders down here. So the only thing I can really do from here on that mud is just looking for anything which is poking out. Then I might risk it. You'll see how still it is today, and because the boats have only just started. So there's another mooring point. I don't know if you can see it. So that big round stone, maybe an old millstone with chains on it. There's the anchor next to it. Hard to see from here, I think, but there you see one of the anchors. There's a few down here. It's great, gives you a sense of the history of this place. So that plane, I think, must be for City Airport, which is close by. So, do you know what this is? See if you can get a sense of what that is. I'm gonna go in the water and wash it. So this is a skull. Skull of probably a sheep, but quite an old one. So look at the colour of the bone. So this has been in the water some time. Let me hold on to that, and I'll see if we get to a patch further down where I can get closer to the water, or if there's a little puddle somewhere, I'll give it a wash. Then you get a closer look on it. I would think it's probably by the size of it, it's a dog or a sheep. Small. Shape's wrong for a pig's, so I'm guessing it's so there's an anchor as well, another anchor. I don't know if you can see it, and another stone there, and there's a huge one just over there, a metal one. Let me see if it's just so the mud sinking here. Let me try and. So there's the anchor. I don't know if you can see it. Let me try and walk on this line, because there's rocks on top, so I can walk on the rocks and I won't sink, he says, hopefully. Oh man. What do you reckon that is? Oh wow, beautiful. Look at that. Ah, oh, fuck. Excuse my French. Sorry, getting stuck in the mud. It's an old boat hook. Got my hands full here. Don't know if you can see it. Let me take that. I've got my hands full. The last thing I need now is to get stuck in the mud. Then I'm screwed. Let me man. Oh, this is. I do have a plastic bag. Actually, I can put it in a plastic bag. Sorry, I'm talking to myself here as well as you, just thinking out loud. I've got a plastic bag. I can put the skull and the boat hook in the plastic bag. I'm getting covered in mud here. Oh shit. Oh man. Can you hear that sucking? That's so. I need to put this stuff down. There's an old barrel there as well. Look at that. Let me go and right on the line of the barrel. Just want to check this. Nah, just a pipe stem, nothing else. Oh, balls. Oh, man. See, I've got my hands. Balls. Oh, man. See, I've got my hands full. Look, here. It's me trying to carry it. It's like a bloody nightmare. I just got to get through to the end of the mud to that rocks there. And then I can wash this and have a proper look. If I don't get stuck and fall over. So you can see all the metal kind of staple things here. So many chains. There's another millstone there, or round stone, which would have been a mooring point. Just full of them down here. It gives a sense of all the ships and that would have been down here, which is good because it means there were people here, and if there's people here, they would have dropped stuff, and if they've dropped stuff, then we can find stuff. So all good indications. Right, it's a bit better. Oh shit. It's interesting, isn't it? Lots of big heavy iron bits down here. Right, nearly there. And then I'll go and clean these up and have a look at the boat hook and the skull properly, see what it is. Oh. It's interesting when you see oyster shells and there's like holes in them. Especially there, the square kind of hole looks like it's been cut out, and sometimes an indication that they use it to make buttons or use the mother of pearl for something. I'm not going to pick it up because my hand's full. Skull and a boat hook, and then my rake. Right, let me find somewhere. That big rock here. Let me put that down on the big rock, and then I can just clean up a bit. I made it. So that's interesting. So that boat hook. That's nice that it's still attached to the original piece of wood that it's from. And then there's this skull. Let me try and wash it in here. So there, that's the skull. So that's the front part of it. Yeah, so that's quite small. So that's probably a sheep's skull, I reckon. Like a little sheep skull, which is a lamb. A little sheep skull, a lamb skull maybe. Or a dog, I don't know. Could be, but hard to know because the rest is missing. Whether it would have, whether that was whether that would have been or a little wild pig, I don't know. Anyway, let's wash this up a bit. That's great, that hasn't rusted or anything. That's brilliant. That's quite nice. I think I'll take that home, clean it for the garden. Just nice to have it on the original piece of wood on it. Ah yeah, deer. Thank you. As my brain isn't functioning. More likely a deer than anything. Sheep or deer. But you're right, probably a deer. Yeah, I would go on that. I think you're right. If I was to make a guess, I would go on that as well as a deer. Right, let me leave those there. Let me just clean this handle up and let me go out a bit. Back on there. Oh man. Right, so I'm going to come back for that deer skull and that boat hook. Just got to remember where it is. And let me try and go down on this rocky line and see what's down there on either side. So I'm down here today with Carrie, but she's away on the other side, miles down there, which you won't see, apart from the pink wellies. Yeah, no, I will, thank you. I think you're right, more likely to be a deer skull than anything. Tape measure, which is great because if it survives another 100 years, then some mudlark, if we're all still here, is going to be over the moon. 21st century tape measure with Wigs written on it. That will baffle them. Wigs will then be some kind of, wow, that's a really old company that used to make tools. Oh, I thought that was like an outline of a chain or something. Right. I'm just going to walk along this line. See, there's another mooring point. There's another one there, a smaller one. Let's just see. There's an anchor. I don't know if you can see it. I walk up to it. All being well. I was just intrigued whether that plant was actually growing there. I thought, how on earth is that growing there? But it wasn't, that was washed up. So there's the anchor, if you can see it. Hey, how are you? Carrie sent you over. Bless. Isn't that lovely, that anchor? I don't know whether the second bit is underneath or not. But there's so many of these down here. Again, a kind of a nod to what this place was before. I'm not going to go further out on this line because I may never come back and I've got things to do today, but I'm going to go down on a different line on there, which is a bit more rocks between the mud, so it's kind of a bit safer to go down on. So here's another mooring point. As you can see here, so many of them down here. You see all the chains. And then there's another one here. So that may well be an old millstone. Ship's timbers. So hard to see because it's just because it's quite slow, the water today. I mean, normally you get mud, but the rest of everything, the rocks and that, would be a bit more washed. That's a problem when you mudlark on the weekend. Sometimes you get that. So it's a bit difficult to see anything because it's all covered in one. Again, right. I'm looking for those clay pipe stems that are coming out the mud. So anything that points upwards. And there's a slightly different colour is worth just exploring a bit. Oh shit. See if I can get on those rocks. Shit. Excuse my French. It's just sinking in the mud. Well, the good thing is, if I do go, then at least I'm recording my very slow death. It will be here live on TikTok. If I do get stuck in the mud and the tide comes in, then we can all go together. That's a bit better. God, I just see nothing here. Normally there would be a bit more definition, but because the mud has dropped, everything is just the same. Gotta really have sharp eyes to see anything. I also have to be careful because the tide is coming in. It's an early low tide this morning, 7:30, which means get here for 5:30, which means get up at 4. So it's an early start. Right. It's funny how the mud bubbles sometimes. It's beautiful. Look, so this is we're directly opposite Canary Wharf here, and there's a Canary Wharf station for the riverboats. Here's some, I think, stoneware. Let me have a look. No, some an old Victorian sewer pipe, I think. Kind of beautiful down here, isn't it? Let me head up a bit, and I'm going to go round. So this is kind of those colours here where the water's running down is what you would normally see down here if the mud hadn't dropped, and you see a bit more definition. It does help kind of looking, but you know, you work with what you have, isn't it? And you make the most of it. Right. This bit is where I hope I don't break my neck. Yeah, mud, glorious mud as far as the eye can see. Engineers' mills. Down there's a prospect of Whitby, I think. Is it down there? Where the hanging tree is. If you want to see a hangman's noose on the River Thames, head down there. And then the pub is kind of dedicated to the history of that particular part of the foreshore where the hanging tree is. Morning, Sue. How? Good morning, Michelle. Welcome to Southeast London in the United Kingdom on the River Thames, Mudlarking. Must be quite late there in San Diego. It's a little bit early here. It's about, what time is it? It's 20 past 8 in the morning, and here I am covered in mud. It's the only way a Saturday morning should be. Right, let's head back to the deer skull and to the boat hook, and then I'm going to head down and see if I can meet up with Carrie and see what she's found. Again, just keeping my eyes peeled on this bit here. Again, you can see the mud kind of dropped on it, so it does kind of cover most things, and it's a bit hard sometimes to see. But I'm going to go a bit further down. I might try and scrape the back wall. Sometimes you get some lovely things. In fact, let me go and have a look there now. Always worth scraping the back wall because stuff gets dropped there and gets caught. But I tend to look where kind of metal's collected on the back wall. It's a kind of a good indication for me. Otherwise you end up scraping forever a back wall that doesn't necessarily yield much. And I remember when I bumped into the mud god on the Isle of Dogs, and he was kind of explaining about scraping the back wall. You know, he was suggesting scrape and see what comes up, look for smaller bits of metal. If they're coming up, and that's a good sign. You know, scrape down as far as almost the bedrock and see what comes up. God, that stinks, that bit. Full of flies, that's stinky. Normally the Thames doesn't stink that much on the places that I go. But that's not particularly pleasant. Sometimes it's where the sewer outlets are. tell you what it does smell like. It smells like cat pee. I've got this cat where I live, and he just insists on peeing against my car. But not just anywhere, kind of, he does the four wheels and then he does the door, does the driver's door for some reason. I have this kind of odd relationship with this cat. I'm trying to find ways of deterring him so he stops peeing on my car. Anyway, that's by the by. So this is the boat hook on that. Let me take those. I'm going to take them down to where Carrie is. Yeah. You think he loves me? I think he hates me. Because every time I come out and I kind of try to talk to him about it, he just stares like, you know, who am I to tell him where to pee, understandably. You know. And I do chase him off, but he always comes back and pees with a vengeance. Oh, first world problems, huh? A cat that pees in your car. Anyway, also poops in the garden, but I'm not sure it's the same one. Or if it is, we do have problems. Right, let me try and find... I over-prepare. I always carry a rucksack and I've got everything. If I was to be stranded on the foreshore for a few days, I would have enough to survive. It's ridiculous. I do over-prepare. But, I mean, some people travel so light. I haven't quite managed to do that yet. Right, so there's a bag. Let me just bear with me 1 second. Completely down. Let me right. So I'm going to take with me that the deer skull and also that boat hook. Oh, that's quite heavy. It's quite nice as well. And let me put that in here. God, I'm covered in mud. Right. Good morning. Welcome to the foreshore, nice and early. Alright. I'm mudlarking the Thames, trying to find my pension. Today, unsuccessfully. I've not found particularly much because it's all covered in this kind of film of mud, and I've not been here for a while, and everything's kind of changed a bit, so I'm struggling really kind of to understand where to look. So I'm just casually wandering around in the mud, occasionally getting stuck, and occasionally finding something interesting. But I'm making a change from where I have been for the last few months, and I thought I'd try here. Loads of pipe stems down here. This is the place for clay pipes. Had some lovely, really long stemmed clay pipes down here. You see, that's kind of interesting to me here. So can you see all the metal that's collected here? And that's just so you've got something to gauge on where to look. That's somewhere I would scrape. So let me just change hands. There we go, look at that. Instincts were right, a coin. That's a big old coin, so that's not modern. What do you reckon that is? Let's have a look. Let me wipe that off. So is that oh no, actually that's there's a Britannia on there. So you can see it's got a Britannia on the front, the date's on the bottom. I cannot for the life of me see the date, so I'm going to have to ask you to, but I think, is that another coin there? I see, that's a stone. That's so misleading, isn't it? Look at that. That's what I'm looking for, that round shape. And then when you got it in there, it does look like a coin. So this is, so there's a Britannia on here. The date is on the bottom. I can't see it. But that looks like, What is that? Can anyone see that? That looks like a younger Elizabeth. It's 1969. Brilliant. There you go. But exactly just as I thought, you know, this kind of instinct, trust your instinct. This looks a good place to scrape, and boom, up pops a coin. So let's just scrape a bit more. Because otherwise, if you're not kind of using markers like this, it's just literally a needle in the haystack. So you see the bits of iron here. It's kind of a place where I look, where those iron is, and I'll just scrape away underneath. And just see what else has been caught up in the iron. And let's have a look for the next iron patch. Actually, let's go a bit further down here. See if there's any more coins. Another coin on the right of that round stone. See, it's difficult actually because through the lens it looks slightly different than it does in real life. And there's lots of round things, and sometimes it's quite clear on what's a coin and what isn't. But on the camera, actually, it's not always so clear. Right, so have a look, another patch on the back wall. See, this is great, isn't it? So here, let's have a look here. See again, so this bit here, I'm going to put the bag down for a second. So this bit, can you see all these kind of staples which have been collecting bits of metal, slightly bigger ones and some smaller ones. And that, for me, is a place to try and scrape, as opposed to just scraping randomly. At least you've got something to go on. Only because stuff gets caught with that with the heavy metal that sits there. Sometimes coins get caught in there, so that's why I'm looking at those metal patches. So what's good also, what you do is that when you're scraping away, you're kind of making note of what's coming up, if anything's coming up, if bits of metal are coming up. Because then that gives an indication that something's being caught there and caught in the sand. So again, here's somewhere I would want to have a look where these are. And I have to say, doing the metal patches, it is hard work, but it is certainly a good starting point. And many of a coin have I found on those patches, so I always go back to them. Oh. Good morning, Gandalf. Thank you for joining us. Right, me with my bag for life. Let's go a bit further down. I'm heading back down to Carry. Good place also to scrape is when nails come up. I've had great success there, where there's another good sort of pointer to scrape patches of nails. There also sometimes coins collect. So this is where I am. Look at that, isn't that beautiful? Ah, thank you so much. I can't say your name. Articulate. I haven't got my glasses, so everything is slightly blurry, but thank you so much. It's very kind of you. Right, I think I'm gonna head back to Carry. Right. Mud. Glorious mud. Okay, I'm going to sign off now. So, thank you so much. Ah, thank you, I got it right. Ta-da! Sorry, Terry, I may have missed that. Thank you so much for joining me. I'm going to sign off now. I wish you a wonderful weekend, a happy Saturday. And I look forward to seeing you soon. If you interested in mudlarking, do go onto YouTube. There's slightly longer videos there of mine and Carrie's exploits on the foreshore and that. But let me just do around here, and I can say goodbye. Flip camera. 1 second, flip camera. So there you go. Thank you so much. Lovely to see you. Have an amazing weekend, and I look forward to seeing you soon. And just to see where we are with the U-boats going past. Isn't that beautiful? Look at that. What a wonderful city to live in. There on Canary Wharf.